Here we are midway round 8. Not much going on. The Atlantic for Germany. Put a couple subs there in convoy zones. They'll probably be taken out, but just to cause an annoyance, why not? Germany purchased 3 fighters so that they could fill up northern Germany and help scramble in those waters. We've got 8 infantry in southern France and then 6 each on the other. They did a strategic bombing and a tactical bombing run. They have maximized the damage on the factory and have 4 damage on the air base. They did not lose any airplanes. First time they've bombed without losing a attack bomber. Up here, actually, the map looks quite different than it did at the end of Germany's turn. Germany had kind of blitzed through a lot of these territories here. Germany actually did get their oil out of northwest Persia, the national objective for 2 IPCs. At the end of Germany's turn, they still had Stalingrad, so they got their national objectives. I think they collected, I don't know, $88 IPCs or something like that. But Russia had a pretty good strike back. They kind of cleared up all these miscellaneous territories except for the one. Pulled back. That force coming at them was too strong to do much about. But they actually did push forward in some areas down south. Took back Stalingrad. Pushed back into Bryansk and Rostov. So Russia is holding its own. And Germany is stagnant there, with the blitzing possibilities kind of cut off for now. No tanks up there, so we will see what that. Germany also moves 2 subs down into 97 to protect that sea zone. I got cut off in the end of my last video, so if you were watching that, I was just talking a little bit about how sea zone 97 is very important. It's a convoy zone for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 territories. So I'm basically throwing everything I can at protecting that territory. Germany came back down and got Greece. Japan swept up a lot of Chinese units, but not anywhere close to taking the Burma Road. They have never been able to hold French Indochina, which is very frustrating for Japan, because that is a beautiful place for a factory, and they just can't seem to keep it. They've got some transports loaded or ready to be loaded, sitting off a naval base, so they've got a lot of striking ability. 1, 2, 3. They can get all the way to Burma if they want. Get to the Money Islands. They can either come 1, 2, 3 down to Northern Territory. So those 3 transports are versatile. Nothing going on here. Japan decided not to take Hawaii. It's a 5 IPC national objective, but they would be losing a transport and a guy, and I don't know, just didn't seem worth it. They've still got their double scramble ability. We have seen no progress here at this Navy, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Not much to report here at this Navy. Japan sent a sub up and took out a lone transport. Japan sent a destroyer down and took out a lone transport here. Japan still is not able to get Malaya. So the UK will have its double national objectives if it takes Dutch New Guinea, which it will in the second half of round number 8. Alright, round 8 is in the books. It's actually getting a little bit painful. It's just a long game. But let's see what we got here. Britain bought a destroyer. Don't like those subs messing around with their convoy zones. US has got a couple transports, attack bomber, fighter, 3 fighters, an attack bomber and a fighter up there, so they're getting quite an air force. They've got 5 infantry, 4 artillery, and a tank on England, so they've got some transportability. Just not sure how best to do it. Pulling them out of that sea zone kind of puts them in the open water a little more. You know, they've got 2 scramble zones over top of them now. They move into 110. They lose one of those scramble zones, so not sure how best to do that. They don't have much attack power with the scrambling ability of Western Germany over the German Navy, so kind of an impasse. Both the navies are in defensive zone and not able to touch the other. Oh, speaking of defensive zone, so we've still got this zone here where Italy added a destroyer. Now got 6 boats, 6 scrambling fighters. UK has got 6 subs, 4 destroyers, a cruiser, 2 battleships, carrier, 2 fighters. 2 fighters there that can reach. I guess attack bomber and 1 fighter can reach. They can't all reach. Those planes are over there because they knocked out German tanks in northwest Persia. The tanks rolled very well, took out my UK artillery and a UK fighter, but UK didn't want any blitz opportunities down here for Germany. With Russia having cut off the German supply, they should be able to gobble that up soon. It's kind of looking like it has from the beginning. I mentioned it every video, but it's starting to become painful. The length of the game, the Axis advance seems to be stagnated, and the Allies are getting steadily stronger. It's not super obvious unless I'm just in denial, but I might have to call it soon. Anyway, in China, what did we have? We had China taking a couple territories, maybe just 1, but UK taking a bunch, spreading out, taking back French Indochina. Not 1 round has Japan been able to hold French Indochina. And they still have a fighter, and they still have an artillery, and they have a couple infantry, and they still have Malaya. They did have to kind of cut off their supply line to protect India because they wanted to make sure there was no desperate attempt by this fleet to transport 1 unit with 1 bombardment and 2 planes and backdoor me into Calcutta. So got 4 ground units plus anti-aircraft artillery, 5 units versus 1 ground unit, 2 airplanes and a bombardment. Should be fine, no problem. Just wanted to be sure. Like I said, I think the Allies are winning. I don't want to let Japan have a easy way in. Another reason the Allies are winning is because there is no Japanese Navy. What happened to that? Oh, there's no American Navy either. Yes. Round number 8 had the clash of navies. So, Japan used its 6 kamikaze strikes, took out a couple cruisers. They scrambled 6 aircraft. They had 3 loaded carriers, and I don't know. You saw the mess of troops last video. U.S. being afraid of these fighters and bombers and battleship decided to go ahead and take their naval units as casualties rather than trying to keep a navy here. And what they ended up with is a surviving air force of 4 TAC bombers, 4 fighters, and a bomber, strategic bomber. So they have supply lines still open, and a reinvigorated, or as Young Grasshopper says, a resurgent U.S. Navy. Just a carrier for them planes to land on, 2 subs and 2 destroyers. Anzac has got 2 national objectives now. Malaya is still in Allied hands, and again, this Navy was somewhat threatening. I didn't want to leave my new built Navy unprotected. I didn't want to leave my Navy separate. In other words, I didn't want to put one Navy in each sea zone and leave those fighters and TAC bombers within range. So, pulled back for 1 round, but 2 transports, 3 destroyers, and a carrier. I've still got 2 transports worth of artillery and infantry, as well as an additional original fighter. So Anzac is still looking strong. Just wanted to group up before I venture out. Again, just playing it safe. Maybe I could be more aggressive, but I don't want to give Japan a way back in the war. Give you a bird's eye view. It's a lot of territory, a lot of water, without a lot of boats. This view is also good to show you just how pushed back Japan is. They've got a couple territories in western China, but no units out there. They're going to be taken away in 1 round easy. Got some transports and some units, but nothing compared to what China and UK have. With the U.S. supply line coming in, no boats to transport, or having to spend money on those boats to rebuild. Do have a factory, but not looking great. Again, Russia's cut off top and bottom. Kind of got 2 fronts for Germany now, rather than being surrounded like they were. These guys are in a stalemate on the coast. These guys are in a stalemate in the Mediterranean. Everyone playing defensive. And also, I'm playing against myself, so there's got to be some factor in that. UK built down in South Africa. Had some troops up to be transported. Not bothering to repair those 20 IPC or 20 damage on that factory. Actually, I forgot the air base was damaged. I will have to repair that before I venture into those waters. Alright, we will see what how much longer I can last. This game is taking quite a while. Starting round number 9 now. Alright, after further deliberation, I'm going to call this game for the Allies. The big naval battle definitely went America's way. I think Japan was, I don't know, the numbers were too big there. I think Japan thought with their double scramble ability they were going to be okay. There was a battleship, a cruiser, a destroyer. There were units they could have put there. There were IPCs they could have built. And they did not. And they paid the price for it. Japan is still being pushed out of the mainland. China is taking over the majority of their territories. They've never been able to hold French Indochina. They've got the Money Islands. They've got a navy down here. But their navy is matched, almost matched, with Anzac. And obviously Anzac has a factory down there, so they're going to be building up, whereas Japan is going to have to survive down there and spend all their IPCs to build up here as America's coming over. IPCs are key because I did the math and I counted up the national objectives as well, and the Allies are pumping out 50 more IPCs per round. Doing it at the end of a round, so everyone's had a turn to go, and national income plus national objectives bonus, and the Allies have 50 more IPC. 50 more each round. I've got no specific plan that I'm excited about with the Axis. I've just been surviving, and when you're just surviving and they've got 50 more IPCs pumping in than you, there's not a lot that you're going to be able to do. I mean, I could buy a bunch of attack bombers or a bunch of subs or both and wipe out that navy even with the scramble ability. I mean, there's things I can do. My double scramble ability here is going to hold them off for a little while. Maybe I build another air base, but it's all defensive. It's all just pushing the Allies back. When you're pushing back an enemy that is 50 IPC richer than you every round, it's a losing battle. So because I don't have a grand scheme like next round I'm gonna punch through to Russia, oh no, Russia has more units than I do, so Russia's not going down. Germany could build a little wall here and hold what they've got, but again, that's just defensive. They've got Stalingrad back. They're going to get Caucasus in northwest Persia. That's 7 more IPC national objectives. The Axis are just being outspent. Allies are just playing a patient game of buildup. They're not actually conquering a lot of territory, but they're holding their own and outbuilding the Axis. So just calling it war of attrition. Who knows how long this game could go, but started getting bored with it. It just became unimaginative, uncreative. Axis did not have a plan. Allies' plan was working, as in their plan was to slowly build up. We've got a transport convoy coming over now, Navy rebuild, 7 aircraft there, and for the U.S. Just probably was obvious to the person watching, more obvious than me playing myself, because obviously I'm also the Axis, so I feel like, oh, I can do it, I can pull it out, I can make it happen. But I find when I'm playing against myself that I'm a little more blinded to the reality than when I'm playing against an opponent. So you viewing it, you may see the same thing. You may think that I was blinded to it. I know it's happened in the past. Probably happened in this game. I get sentimental about the countries I'm controlling. So, that was my second game. First time I've been able to play it to that much fruition. I played my first game and Sea Lion worked, and I just kind of felt like, wow, I don't know how I'm going to recover from that. And I didn't have a whole bunch of time at that time, so this is my first full game. Axis I called the first game short for the Axis sea line working. Second game we went through 8 rounds, and and the first game was about four rounds, 3 or 4 I think. The very first turn of the 4th round, Germany conquered London. This game, 8 completed rounds. Allies just winning a war of attrition, outspending, holding their own, pushing them back. The main strategy was not doing the Taranto raid on 97 with the British fleet. Instead, I brought them over to 92 and built an airbase in Gibraltar. Germany did not go for Sea Lion. They attacked Russia second round. My thoughts about those two strategies was the Great Britain airbase strategy was great. The attacking Russia strategy, not so great. I'd like to see those two together. Can the UK pull off an airbase and still keep Germany off of London if Germany does go for the Sea Lion? That's probably what I'll do next round, because those are the two strategies I like the best. Was Germany going for Sea Lion. I liked that for the Axis, and I liked the airbase for the Allies. So see when we put my two favorite strategies together, what will come of that. US kind of ineffective over here. Maybe not kind of, maybe completely. They had a navy that kept Germany's navy in its harbor, but that was about it. They didn't really have anything to do in Africa. They did not transport any troops. They never got Norway. That was my hope. I mean, obviously if the US player can get Norway, put a factory there, that's huge. But they'd spent most of their money in the Pacific, which in the end finally paid off for them. My main strategy with the US was to get north, keep Japan weak in the south. And look at that. Japan is weak in the south. I mean, they kept my boats out of the water, so they were able to keep islands. If you've got no boats, you can't get islands. But they were not able to bring their force down south because they had to stay home, and I ended up building a naval base in Midway, naval base in the Aleutian Islands, transporting units over. Transporting never really got going. It looked like it was going to work or have some effect, but the main thing was just keeping my American Navy up north. Kept Japan's bulk of Navy off of Anzac and off of the South mainland. The Pacific Fleet for the UK met up with the Mediterranean Fleet, so that was one of the reasons there were no boats down here contesting, but I don't think Pacific UK Fleet can compete with Japan's fleet anyway, so they got out of there and then met up in the Mediterranean to make a huge fleet. I mean, I bought a bunch more subs, so we got 6 subs, 4 destroyers, 2 battleships, a cruiser, 3 transports, and a loaded carrier with some more aircraft on the way. Complete dominance of Africa. Obviously, with control of the Mediterranean, there's not a lot the Axis can do down there. China doesn't have a strategy. China's strategy is to stay alive, push back where they can, but with UK unthreatened in the south and getting a decent amount of IPCs. They controlled Malaya for most of the game. Started convoying them a little bit. That actually works, keeping their IPC count a lot lower, but maybe I should have done that sooner. Convoy them if they're controlling those territories, but I think if Japan's to be successful, they need to make sure that they need to not let UK control those territories. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Main point in the Pacific was US successful in keeping Japan's attention off the southern Asia coast and off of Anzac, and UK successful in controlling the Mediterranean with an air base in Gibraltar. Russia just pulled back, struck forward when they could, but mostly a defensive stance as usual. Germany kind of, I don't know, I guess kind of spreading itself, trying to help in the Atlantic with some aircraft, and Navy having to hold off in the Atlantic and trying to push towards Russia. Can't do it all. That's probably why people push for Sea Lion, one focus. But okay, that's it. End of game number 2. Fun, it was long. Allies win a war of attrition. Next time I'm not sure what Japan's going to do, but next time Germany is going to put more effort into their Sea Lion, maybe hold off on attacking Russia so early. We shall see. Strategies, never ending. I'll read more. We'll see you next time. Quick postscript. I knew there was something more with Japan. Japan did not attack round 1. That was their strategy. They had been successful attacking round 1 with game 1. So game 2, I waited till round 2 to attack, and I did not like that. So game 3, I'll go back to Japan attacking first round, and we'll see if the Japan first round is able to counter US going north. Like I said, just like I will try the 2 best strategies against each other in the European sector, I'm going to try the 2 best strategies against each other that I've tried so far in the Pacific sector. So Japan first round attack against US heading north, and then Sea Lion versus Gibraltar Air Base with the Mediterranean presence for the UK. Sea Lion's probably going to be hard if US is in the game first round. That's probably what I'm going to run into game 3, but that's why we play these things, man. It's going to be fun. Alright, peace out. See you next time.